SG reads.
Midway, upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah me, how hard a thing it is to say, with what this forest savage rough and stern, which in the very thought renews the fear. So bitter is it, death is little more, but of the good to treat, which there I found, speak will I of the other things I saw there. Hello, fellow travelers. My name is SG, and welcome to the channel. Today, I wanted to go over a very special series that I recently have just watched the first season of, and we will only be talking about the first season to that, and that being the series From, an Amazon Prime original, or MGM Plus original. I saw it on Amazon, but it's on MGM. So if you do want to check it out, I do suggest watching the entire first season. It's definitely worth it. I finished it within a few days, so I'm sure if you put your mind to it, you could binge it within a night. But for now, I'm here to do my review and my points across as what's going to happen later on. Again, I haven't seen Season 2 yet, so this is a good midway point, and since Season 3 is starting later this month, I thought it's best to go over the first season this day, and next week over the second season, and then we'll catch up with the regular season, and maybe have a theory along the way. Anyway, thank you for listening. If you like this content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. Help me out. And let's get started, shall we? Our story begins with the Matthews family, where they are going to see relatives in an attempt to go again, I guess you could say, a cross-country journey, because we see that they are in an RV, or in a camper, if you will. And then along the way, they find themselves stuck in the middle of a forest where the tree collapsed in the middle of the road, along with crows circling around them. And when they turn around, they find themselves stuck in this small town. There we meet Boyd Stevens, along with several other residents of this small town that have been keeping it going so far. They tell the Matthews family that there is something at night that attacks them, that there are creatures beyond what they even understand. These creatures do look like human to a point, and are known to be both sadistic and ravenous. So, when the Stevens family managed to finally survive the night after these creatures attack, it's all about how them, along with another incident that happened shortly after in the car accident, are working together to try to put this, I guess, situation into a sense. Trying to make it so they can go home. Because if anybody tries to leave the area, they just end up back in town at this point. So with the help of Jim Matthews, along with Jade, another person that was in the accident involved with them when they were suddenly tossed into this town or this world, period, they tried to build I guess you could call it a cell tower, in an attempt to get a radio signal that would help them out. But they noticed little things around the town, such as they have different people coming in and out, along with different characters that help either get them used to life there, or as even more so trying to help get them out. We do see different characters along the way, such as Father Kotri, who is the known priest who does only live halfway through the season, spoiler alert by the way. Along with the doctor, we do meet the deputy, who is a main character in this sense, and along the way we do meet a variety of other characters that have preserved life there, but as the Matthews see, and as the days go on, that society starts crumbling little by little. The cast itself is very strong. I do like Boyd's character along with Jim Matthews, and they do keep the show kind of interesting, their personalities and the way they act upon different ways of the main story. Certain characters do feel like they drag on a little bit with the overarching vibe they're trying to go for. Like I said, the deputy does feel like he gets a little annoying mid-season, but does bounce back towards the end, and that's where it kind of keeps its flow going. These all feel like characters that feel real. They do feel like they're worn down, beaten, and are trying to help themselves in any way they can to make this work, or try to get out. You can feel their personalities coming through in the series, and just like The Walking Dead, I would relate this back to The Walking Dead. It does play on more of the characters and more of the personalities that they deal with constantly, rather than the creatures that are on the outside trying to get them. Don't get me wrong, the creatures themselves are still frightening, but the more we learn about certain characters like Victor and Jade all along the way, it does make it interesting. Kenny does grow into a bigger character later on, like I said, and does try to be his own man along the way. And we do feel bad for the tragic incidents that happen around them, such as with Kenny's dad and his mom. But for the most part, I had to say the characters are strong, the cast feels good, and there isn't exactly a weak point I can point out among them, other than the fact that sometimes they do wear down on you a little bit that makes you feel like they need to calm down just a second. But I feel that's all part of their character, their attributes, along with trying to grow along with them and appreciate them for what they are. The settings are very well done, very interesting, very intricate, leave a lot to both what we see is enough, allowing this simplistic way of looking at it, this small town surrounded by a forest, but at the same time gives you enough to question certain things that make the imagination wander. Like I said, I related to The Walking Dead earlier, but the setting, the scenery, I have to relate to Silent Hill. The idea that you're in like a small southern or Texas town, something like that, does offer a good creepy vibe, while at the same time feeling kind of a homey vibe. Does allow you to kind of feel like what it's like to be back in your hometown, while at the same time understanding that there is something darker beneath the surface, and sometimes quite literally that is taken to a literal sense. So for now, I have to say that the settings and the scenery along with the dark forest does add a lot to the imagination, while giving the, I guess you could say, producers and directors enough freedom to have a budget along with it, so it is fun and interesting. The music does add a creepier tone to it, allowing you to finally get the ambiance they're trying to go for, this horror movie vibe. Like even the intro music, Se Shara Shara, which is an older song that's usually done for a little girl, but in this situation it's done for kind of the situation they're in, trying to get them to see that whatever happens is going to happen. So it does add to the creep factor, along with adding a soundtrack to match along with it, giving it a kind of western kind of vibe to it, while at the same time giving it its own flair, interest. And you can tell these characters aren't meant to be in like the mid 80s to mid 70s to mid 50s. They are the current time. They're in the 2020s. We haven't given a date, but you can get, because they have cell phones, they have certain sensibilities, and along the way we do get certain mysteries along too, to suggest that that is what's happening and they don't really know what's going on along the way. So the soundtrack and effects do add to that kind of feature as well. As I said before, the two main influences I'm seeing in this are more not references than rather inspiration. Like I could tell that there is certainly a Walking Dead vibe from the way the characters interact, the way that it's mainly character based in a series like this. How it's psychological based is kind of in that same sense. The creatures themselves look like zombies along the way, and kind of give this idea that you should stay away from it, don't go out at night, don't go into certain parts of the area. Again, very Walking Dead style of acting. But at the same time, you get the Silent Hill vibe with these same creatures more like trying to get them psychologically. This place is more like an entity in itself. Like there is bigger aspects, bigger spiritual senses, or maybe even alien senses, if you will, that are allowing these to kind of twist and bend, affecting the characters psychologically. They have bad dreams, they see premonitions, the monsters mess with them by it being people they knew from the past, or even maybe just warping memories to make them feel like they are people they know in their past. Again, this is definitely taking a note from more of the psychological side of the Silent Hill franchise. So those are the only two I'm gonna note right now. If I'm missing or far off, please leave it down in the comment section. I really like to hear the inspirations and everything along the way for the series from that's come out. Because like I said, I really do enjoy the show and want to know all the ins and outs about it before we get to the final, well not final, but third season coming up this month. So as it stands, I would have to rate that this series is at a 9 out of 10 for me. This is a fantastic and fun series that I do enjoy, because I do like that mystery, I do love the horror, and I do love the characters they introduce. It's only 9 out of 10 for me though, mainly because of the little nitpicks along with the characters feeling a little much at certain points in time. But at the same time, it kind of reminds you that they're right to be like that. This is an outrageous situation that no one could really comprehend. And while I do have certain theories about what's happening in the overarching story, along with what's coming next, I'd rather watch Season 2 and wait on season 3 then to give out my full point of view on that later on. But you can pretty much guess what my thought process is in this during this review. So, for the most part, this is an amazing series that I really do enjoy. I do love it, and I'm definitely going to try to watch the rest of season 2 as much as I can for the next week. And I hope to hear your guys' opinion down below. I want to know if I'm far off with my review, or if you agree, or if you disagree. Either way, I appreciate the views. Thanks again for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know your opinions too, as I said before. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.